time for people to roll in. I know there's another meeting that some people join in on before they come over here. So yeah, we're just going to make sure they get a chance to wrap up and come over if they wanted.
Go ahead. You check out the chat. If you check out the panel, down below, you'll see like the video icon, a microphone, chat bubble. The tonight's agenda will be located in the chat, so you can follow along. We'll have like open discussion towards the end. It's a lot to cover tonight, but we'll have open discussion. We'll typically do a stack, so everyone will have a opportunity to speak, and we're not speaking over each other and whatnot.
Angelia, it looks like the person I was remembering is in Alabama, actually. So we're still working on Missouri. But yeah, if I find anyone, I'll try to hook them up with you or tell them to remember to make a post on the state channel too. But yeah, feel free to start having conversations with people in the neighboring states too if it gets a little lonely. There are ways you can jump into the other states and just check in, especially if you're like on the border with another state. We know that that's also the case for some people. So if anyone wants to know how to do that, you can ask and we can show you how to do stuff like that, like find the other states after the meeting and stuff.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's check and see if the other meeting's done, and then we might get started here. Looks like there's a couple of them still wrapping up. Yeah, we'll give them another like minute, and if they're not done, we'll just go ahead and start so we can get in all the information to you all. Yeah, if anyone needs any help with the controls for Discord, feel free to come off of mic and ask if there's anything you need at this point, though. Happy to help.
We have Jaden sharing their screen as well, sharing some of the resources so you all can see what they look like and where they may be.
Yeah, this agenda will kind of be what we'll be going through to help introduce you guys to some basics of what we've already created, projects we're working on, ways you can get involved, and also just kind of who you can ask questions to as well if you're not sure and you want to ask. So I think we'll go ahead and get started at this point since it looks like the other group's still chatting a little bit. So yeah, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Dalian. I help organize out in the Oregon area, but I also help out with these welcome meetings when I can. And Day is also going to be helping with the meeting too. Day, you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Dalian. My name is Day. I help organize with our Detroit chapter here in Michigan. I help some of the welcome meetings and just do what I can when I can. But thank you all for coming. It's nice to meet with you and be organizing with you all.
Yeah, definitely. It's always fun to see new people come in and make sure that everything's making sense. So you're all welcome to ask questions during the kind of first part of the meeting. It'll kind of be more just like myself or Day or others sharing information for you all. But you can ask questions in the chat if you want, and we'll try to answer those while we're going along or pause for little bits. And then at the end, we'll do more of an open-ended conversation. We can also try to share answers to the icebreaker question that Day made for us this week. And I'll go ahead and read that now so you all can start thinking about it in case you do have something you want to share with the group later on. So our icebreaker for this week that we'll discuss at the end will be what's a book, an article, or piece of media that significantly shaped your understanding of social justice or what you want your community organizing to accomplish or look like. If you have any things that have been a big influence on you, we'd love to hear that and find out more. So we'll go ahead and start with the first part of the meeting then, and I'll take you through just kind of a little bit about what General Strike US is. If you haven't found our information and you maybe just, found things quickly through social media or whatnot, here's a bunch of resources that might be helpful for you to gain a better understanding of what we are, what we're trying to accomplish, and how you can help. So a lot of what we have is on our website, generalstrikeus.com. But as you've probably heard, the goal of this movement is to organize a critical mass of people who are willing to withhold their labor in exchange for demands from the oligarchy and demands from our system of government that we don't think they'll be willing to make these changes unless we withhold our labor to get it done. Things like getting money out of politics, making sure that we actually implement climate solutions, making sure that we actually obey the laws of the government and create an election system that can actually help everyone participate equally and fairly and fully. These are things that are not happening right now. We've been protesting for it, we've been voting for it, we've been marching for it. Nothing's changing, so it's time to strike back, and that's what we're mobilizing our forces together here to do. So, if you haven't already found it, we've got a couple of really awesome link trees that have a bunch of different resources on it. I'm going to go through some of the highlights of what's on there. These are places where you can kind of bookmark these Linktree websites, and they have little libraries of different files or different websites that can help you get started with actions that might help in your community. Every community is different, might have different needs or resources already. So yeah, you can take a look through, see if there's things that help you. Some of the most basic resources, though, about understanding what General Strike US is all about is our welcome packet, which takes you through, why the strike card is our way of kind of transparently telling everyone our progress towards our end goal for the movement. It goes through our 3 phases of development. Right now, we're in phase 1 of trying to mobilize and get as many people together as possible, to doing a lot of outreach. It'll go through phase 2 and phase 3, where we hone in our strike demands and get ready to actually implement the logistics of the general strike. Welcome packet also has a bunch of things about our values and our generalized strike demands at this point, as we have heard them from our community, but we will have focused groups working on actually developing our final strike demands later in the future. And people are welcome to give input on those sorts of things. We also have a code of conduct that helps provide a guide for how we expect ourselves to interact within our community. We want to make sure that this is a place that's respectful and safe and productive for all the people in here. We want members to make sure that they are looking out for each other, treating each other the way that they would like to be treated. And so we rely on all of us to give each other the benefit of the doubt when appropriate. Ask for clarification rather than assume intentions or information or backgrounds of other people. And yeah, just try to get to know each other first before really trying to declare that someone is just like wrong-headed about something if you're having a disagreement about something that's, a minor disagreement. So. Some disagreements are important, and you can definitely bring in the moderators if it's something you're not sure you'll be able to resolve with another member. We can try to help mediate and help you all figure out ways you could resolve things yourself. The code of conduct is really great for helping you think about how to interact with other people online, but it can also be useful for in-person interactions and meetings within the organization too. All right, some other stuff that we've got. I'll try to hit these quickly. We've got a resources and skills form. This is a little bit more in depth than just signing the strike card. This asks like what resources or skills you might be able to provide to help us build a sustainable general strike, or to build community projects before we get to the general strike that will help us be able to survive and thrive and protect our communities while we are striking. So check out that skills form if you can. We've also got several resources that cover topics like the structure of General Strike US, why we're doing decentralization, why we have a strike card, how we interact with unions and what the place of unions can be in partnership with us. We've got our list of active General Strike US chapters and any social media pages they have, so you can find local General Strike news and help support our message from your local places or from other states too if you want. Outreach guides and templates and tracking tools. We really try to create tools that people can just pick up and start using in their local areas if they want to start creating partnerships between other like-minded organizations that might also be moving in parallel with us towards fighting oligarchy and trying to create healthier, more respectful, more humane systems of work and relationships with each other and the planet. There's PDFs that have a lot of our materials you can print and hand out to other people. Flyers, zines, pamphlets, graphics, QR codes, things like that. You can find all of this on this GSUS resources link tree. There's also some really cool how-tos that'll tell you how to give you some suggestions on how to take an action in your community or help start a community building project. Things like mutual aid groups that help distribute food or clothing or harm reduction supplies, ways to make time banks, set up community trash pickups, form community defense organizations, ways to start political education groups, make food pantries, free stores, things like that. I already mentioned a little bit about the phases, but yeah, there's more information on what's going on in phase 1 and phase 2, since that's our current phase and the one we're looking into. Coming up next. And there's some other resources provided by other organizations. We also have a new presentation created by some of our members that helps explain how decentralization works and what that looks like. I believe that is a Google slide presentation that is linked in this agenda here too. Yeah. So I think that's the beginning part here. I'm going to check and see if anyone's got questions from the chat before we keep going. No, looks like we're all good. Cool. While we're talking too, feel free to type in like who you are, where you're from. If you want to introduce yourselves in the chat, love to let other people see like who's here. Just states or whatever you feel comfortable with. You don't have to do anything too specific. Yeah. Remember, we're all doing this together. So part of these meetings and part of what you can all do to help figure out your role within General Strike US is get to know people, start talking to people. We're going to need to know who we're working with so that we can trust each other and lean on each other and work with each other to help make our country better and our communities better. All right. Day, do you mind if I hand it over to you for the next sections?
Yep, that's fine, Delian. So yeah, sweet. Those are resources that can help you throughout your process of getting started, whether it's starting General Strike chapter or just starting getting involved in your community through mutual aid or any type of project or service to help empower you and your community. We just want to also remind you all 3.5% is not 100, but it is enough to make an impact within our communities, within the USA, that can possibly affect generations to come and, help advance the struggle for the people's liberation, for equity. So we just want to open the floor up to one of our partners from Collectively Sustainable. They're here to help help folks understand a new project program that they're offering, and it definitely speaks volume with their name, Collective Sustainable. That's what we want to promote, self-determination. I'll open up floor up to Nature Boy Lawrence.
Appreciate you, Day. Thankful to be sharing space with you all. I don't check in on Discord just because I can't understand it. The player getting old, man, and this Discord is something else. But I appreciate y'all sharing space and holding space for me to kind of present this opportunity that I feel is necessary for us to capitalize on, especially as we move forward into co-creating spaces for each other with our collective vision in mind. So, like Dave said, Collectively Sustainable is our grassroots organization. We're operating based out of Atlanta, but we're nationwide. and our objective is to create hyper local food systems. And we went to the extent to have our own app as well. It's called Farm Fresh 24/7. You can download it on Apple and Google stores for free. And what we're doing is basically trying to find and unearth growers, bakers, and makers in our hyperlocal communities and put them on this app so that we can source things from each other peer to peer instead of going through the big box grocers and the big corporations. And I think this, again, is a wonderful time for us to really strike because we have a lot of momentum behind us. It's a lot of energy that's flowing within this time and space right now, and a lot of people are boycotting already. We have a year schedule of boycotts, and I think we fit right in here. And again, our objective is to create hyperlocal food systems, and thus elongating the boycotting resistance. So, what we have found through our interactions and engagements and data is that basically a lot of people want to support this, but there's not a lot of people who can actually provide products and services to maintain sustainability. So, what we have created is a program called A Bod to a Boss, which is basically a mutual aid campaign. And what we're doing is galvanizing a movement to assist our farmers, gardeners, homesteaders that are hyper local to our arena. So that means for you, whatever your area is, you work there. But we're trying to interconnect our resources and create that in-kind value, get the metrics of understanding our collaboration as in bartering energy for energy to kind of present it as a normalcy. So a Buy to a Boss program is basically sending out our community, our stewards, to farmers, gardeners, homesteaders, whatever they deem is viable for them to occupy as far as space and relativity. We're encouraging our community members to go out and find somebody whose growing operation looks like something that you can replicate, right? So you're going to go to a homestead if you want to raise chickens and raise meat, birds, or rabbits for fur or whatever. You want to go to a small space garden if you live in a small space and that's something that you can replicate, so on and so forth. And this About to a Boss program is really just putting it together to where it's on black and white to where we can leverage each other as resources. And again, you go out and make connection with a farmer, gardener, or homesteader, and then you actually uh, exchange your energy, your labor, your admin, or your marketing support for that operation in exchange for their information. So this is not only a program that can affect everybody, but it is also specific because this is a nationally registered program through Apprenticeship USA. And I myself, as Fields Family Farm, we are a registered training site. So what we saw was a lot of our members here in Atlanta started getting letters from the EBT SNAP saying that their benefits might get cut off if they don't produce a work requirement schedule. So basically, they're telling people to produce 20-hour work weeks, possibly up to 20-hour work weeks to maintain their benefits. So what we see as a catastrophe for a lot of people is also, again, an opportunity, and we're just exposing the opportunity. It's a lot of people who are able-bodied adults who can assist a farm or a garden with their operation and then get their work requirements met. So we just basically filled that void. The program was out since 2020. It just is basically a resurgence of that need for the program. So again, a Bod to a Boss is basically formatted to assist people who are on EBT and SNAP to go forward in their own community. And again, we're encouraging people to get as close to their home as possible, maybe even in walking distance, so you don't have to burn up fuel to get to this person. It doesn't have to be a big farm or registered farm. It could be somebody in your community who's growing vegetables in their backyard. It could be an elderly person who you can establish a relationship with. It can be, a homestead that you've met off social media. So we're not putting any barriers up for who you can connect with, but the program is basically a workforce accelerator. We're saying you're going to be the boots on the ground task force that's going to impact them with their workload, whether it's labor, admin, or marketing. And then in exchange, they're going to be teaching you how to steward the land, thus creating more of themselves and then creating more produce for us to procure. And again, Farm Fresh 24/7 being the free app that we created, it's a natural space for anybody who grows, bakes, or makes anything to kind of make their deposit there so people can see them in their area. So it's basically just that. Again, we feel like through the temperature of everything, the heightened temperature of everything going on right now, and to elongate anything, we need to be sustainable. We need to have our food system intact. We need to have it in order. In order for us to do that, we need to produce more producers. So again, this is a workforce accelerator program where not only are you going to impact your hyperlocal community, but you're also going to become someone who could possibly create toothpaste or soap or bread. And again, when we start to organize these boycotts, we'll be able to elongate them because now we have places to pour our money into while we divest from these billionaire companies. We can literally invest in our own infrastructure and thus creating an elongated stance. In a
Hell yeah.
nutshell.
Absolutely, and definitely we'll try to find more ways to support this program. It definitely emphasizes on the 3.5% that's needed for the sustained participation, and that's helping establish the infrastructure needed for this movement and the movement as a whole. So, like you said, Lawrence, so many boycotts. We got some planned out throughout the year, and investing in programs as such really sets us up for success, and we need more of them. And this is I'm pretty sure we all know this one program is not the end all be all, but it's helping push the movement for us to create more, a plethora of them. We need many more programs for food, for homes, shelter, healthcare, and so on and so on.
Absolutely. And I can definitely, play my position. We're a smaller community. We have about 130 members nationwide. Is definitely going to be growing. I anticipate this Abide to a Boss program really kind of garnering the attention of a lot of people because a lot of people are really, again, just leery of the food system, but they don't have anywhere to learn. So this is very much a mutual aid, composite to where I definitely will be mentioning General Strike USA or US, excuse me, and again, having that bigger frame of mind to where we're collecting, interconnected through our, individual works or our hyper local works. We're still interconnected for the bigger picture. So I would love to, put a, tab up or some kind of information in my community collectively sustainable so that people can sign up for their strike cards and kind of understand what the bigger picture is and where we fit in as basically the agricultural adjunct to the movement.
Right on. We can help you. I'll reach out to you a little bit later, possibly after this, to set you up. It'll be like a customizable strike card for you all to share out and whatnot.
Cool, cool. And I'd also like to clarify. So our community is small, but we're basically like the steering committee for Farm Fresh 24/7. Farm Fresh 24/7 is an app that has over 35,000 downloads. We have 18,000 visitors per a month. So we're starting to get attention as well from divestors, frankly, people who are willing to pour into a decentralized app that puts us in connection with one another to procure our goods from in an ethically sourced manner. So I can see that as being a way to again open the door to more people understanding the bigger mission behind, just conscientious consumption. And this is very much necessary. So I appreciate y'all again, just allowing me to hold space for a minute.
No, It's all good. I just it's a question in the chat. If you had time to answer, or Elderberry, if you wanted to come off real quick to talk to Lauren.
Oh yeah, I was just curious about the I guess like the unofficial parts of the app that you've developed, like because you were talking about not just like farms that are forming, but like backyard gardens as well, places like basically I think any space that can produce food. Is there a way by zip code to connect people for work parties and stuff, and then like or like people who are willing to deliver food, make meals for people who need meals made and stuff like that? Has it gone to that level yet, or are we not there yet?
Um, Basically, we're at whatever level we decide to be because we're working hyper locally. So, there's not necessarily a directory that's going to be that can facilitate something nationwide because we, as the participants, have to create it. So, in Atlanta, I can say yes because I've done a lot of work here and we created a lot of community here around this notion. So, there is more of a unified flow, but it's not, there's no barriers. Basically, what I encourage people to do is basically get involved and spearhead things in their own area. But yes, it's not limited to any of the things you mentioned. And that's what Farm Fresh is. It's the way for us to see each other because it is based off geolocation. So when you log into Farm Fresh 24/7, it's going to immediately show you things within a 50-mile radius from where you are. So again, the more people we unearth with the skills, with the abilities, with the bandwidth to do said things, that will increase the opportunity for people to buy into it. But long story short, we have to build what we're looking for.
Okay, that's awesome. And maybe if I can just ask one follow-up question. So like if I have space to garden, but I need help like making that a space that produces food, and then I'm willing to let the community, my community around me, share the benefits of that labor. This is the app I should use to start something like that.
Yes, Farm Fresh 24/7 is more so the tool that we use. The app is simply the marketplace. It's a digital space. Collectively sustainable is more so the community. So what you're describing is the culture, right? So the culture has to be impregnated into minds, into people who are willing to have a different dimension presented for them. So collectively sustainable is our community where we kind of serve as an incubator system and we kind of walk people through what it looks like to form things with collaborative measures in place or with community at the center instead of capitalism. So people have to actually be, kind of drawn through the community to kind of understand. Now, I know you all already kind of basically get the premise, but this is a broader reaching mechanism. So when you come through the community, you kind of get the notion of, how you become a steward and then a lighthouse and interconnecting those facets. What you're describing, your setup, maybe you have the land access, but you don't necessarily have the skill to produce the food. What we're encouraging is collaboration. And we're saying the lighthouses, which are community members who have a specific skill. It could be small engine repair, it could be solar, it could be water purification, it could be food production. We're saying you connect with a steward, collaborate to work on that space together, and then yes, it will be available for the community if you deem that that's where y'all want to go. But it's very much still sovereign at that point. It's basically given the framework for how to build the community, and then you build your community as it pertains to what you're comfortable with. So we call that the theory of micro solidarity. So that's kind of where we shoot from.
Okay, that's very good information. Thank you so much. You mapped it out. Thank you.
Respect. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And if you all have like any follow-up questions, I'm pretty sure Lawrence we shared the Heartbeat app in the agenda Just hit them up on social media. They frequently go live. Pretty sure they'll be able to answer any questions that you all have, especially if you want to get more involved with that. All right, we're
Yes.
just gonna. Lawrence, did you have any more to add?
You know what? I just feel like I just want to say thank you all for being present. Thank you all for really taking the time out your day to organize. I think we're in a time and space where this stuff is necessary, and we can't keep talking about it on social media without adding the equal amount of effort and action in our own community. So I just want to say thank you. I salute y'all from Atlanta, and definitely if you're into the food system thing, tap a player in, man. We here.
Right on, right on. All right, we just got a couple more announcements to go through, you all, and then we can we'll be hearing from one of our members about a follow-up proposal as well. Just to run through these announcements, is volunteer request projects and announcements. Um, if you haven't heard already, we're popping off Operation Starfish. It's already launched. That's basically us. Right now, we're in a national Discord. We'll be breaking off into our regional Discords, and we're looking for volunteers to help run. Help keep these discourse safe, our communities, our online communities safe. Also, if you're getting involved with your state or your regional chapters, your channels, start off planning state and regional meetings. That's very important for us to, be talking to those closest to us. I know a couple chapter states have already been having their meetings. I think Colorado had one today or whatnot, but a lot of them have. We'll be having one in Michigan in April. But yes, it's very important for us to be connecting locally and with our regional comrades and neighbors. Also, organizing workshops. A lot of the resources that was shared earlier has been made by the collective folks within the Discord, folks without the Discord. We're always trying to produce as much resources. We know this can be a lot, especially for folks just getting into like activism or organizing. So we want to help produce content, videos, workshops to make all of this a little bit more digestible, accessible to folks. Everyone is not on Discord. They may be using different platforms. So as many ways as possible, we can, push this information out. What is General Strike US? Why are we organizing and whatnot? Or how to do mutual aid, how to do community organizing, or some of the programs and services we mentioned earlier. Uh, Interested in hosting or running any of these workshops is definitely needed. We can promote it on our YouTube. We've been putting up our political education discussions, coalition meetings, and whatnot. We'll have more. Sometimes we have like clips from like our social media pages on there as well. But the workshops are going to be very beneficial from here on out. Oh yeah, if you're in the Discord, feel free, like I said earlier, with the code of conduct and so on and so on. We want to all help. We all have a role to play in keeping our online community safe, and we also can help welcome new members. So if you see, new folks coming in and they're trying to find something, feel free to point them in the right direction. Feel free to, tag the directory to getting started channel, just to help them out, especially if you're interested in helping, mod in a regional Discord practice. Definitely helps. Some important channels to keep in mind in the Discord are the directory channel, getting started channel, projects. We say time to time during these meetings, if you see a project and doesn't look like it's been tapped into, but you're interested, see if you can get it back started. Reach out to the individual that started the project. But there are a lot of projects that we need volunteers for. One being a collaborative Zine project. That's us, practicing owning the means of production. We also have another project where we're trying to get coordinate Mayday tabling, Mayday mutual aid events during Mayday with our General Strike US chapters. It's a ton of projects for you to help out with. Check out your state channels, and also check out the teams, strategy team, tech team, outreach, whatever one resonates best with you. You feel like you can help out, please do so. And you can always add a moderator if you don't know, how to do something or where to find something. We already talked about Operation Starfish being launched. You'll also find the document that goes over Operation Starfish, and how we came, how did they come to be. We just want to make some announcements real quick about some important meetings. We have one of our partners, General Strike for Resignations. They'll be having a town hall meeting March 27th. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and we'll also the day of, we'll also be dropping reminders and whatnot. But go ahead, support. We'll also be having our coalition meeting. Coalition meetings kind of like the welcome meetings, but they are to connect with new and pre-existing coalition members, for them to connect with each other, for us to, discuss how we can demonstrate mutual solidarity and move forward and so on, and just connect. But that coalition meeting will be happening 2 days after the town hall meeting on the 27th. Our meeting is March 27th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. If you cannot make it to that meeting, no worries. There will be more. We will write down like any important notes and put them here in the Discord. And also we do record those as well. It'll be on our YouTube. So no worries. You'll be able to make it and be put up to date with what's going on. Some Discord activities. You can always check the calendar, announcements, the bullet board. It will keep you up to date, what's going on, or if anything is scheduled. Like we say, we are trying to build a community here, keep each other safe. So we want to, from time to time, do activities together. Wednesdays we have political education discussions. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And then we have Saturdays as movie night. And then we have political theory videos on Tuesdays. Book club is on Sundays. And typically, if those individuals, because each one of these activities is ran by different people, sometimes if they can't make it, we're only human, we're only volunteers. They'll typically reach out, and we'll let you know if it's still going to pop off or if it's canceled. Oh yeah, the BPP Michigan Documentary Club. A lot of movie nights. Well, now we got to get some other workshops up. So if you don't want to teach like a song class or any other classes, workshops, definitely reach out. We gotta get some variety, diversity here. Yeah, and I believe we have Artie up, and Artie is gonna be talking about strike funding for GSUS and strike fund structure. Artie, are you available to chat right now?
Yeah, I am. Thank you. So I'm new, and I just recently signed the strike card myself, and I've kind of been holding off for a while, but kind of took the leap. So based off my own experience, I kind of started thinking about strike funding and how to fund this whole effort. And I've been seeing a lot on social media comment saying things like, I can't afford to stop working, especially if I lose my job. And as we know, the resistance is mostly made up of those living paycheck to paycheck. So my thought is that probably we should prioritize a pool, creating a large pool of strike funds through whatever means we can. And also visibly, concretely showing that we have a growing pool to people. Because I think there will be some people who are always ready to jump into stuff, but other folks are always, there's always the concern of how am I going to get by. So I think if we prioritize the funding and then prioritize showing it in some concrete way, that's going to help the messaging and getting people to sign. And then like specifically, more specific ideas on the strike funds. At first I was thinking of a central fund. Elderberry noted that one central fund could be tricky to administer for 11 million people, which is a good observation. So I wondered, why don't we have state-based funds instead? Then we could find more local foundations or funders, et cetera, to support each of those, and also encourage people in those areas to support their state fund. I thought maybe that could help balance out administration issues, on having a totally centralized fund with the problems on the other ends of fragmentation and choice paralysis. For myself, I have some connection with a bigger funder. So I don't have any leads yet that I can promise, but I am going to have a conversation. So I'm hoping to get some progress there and maybe get some funding from that. But yeah, basically, from my experience, like the foundations and stuff like to have like a bigger fund that they can contribute to. So those are my thoughts. Just reaching out through every means we can to get funding, and then maybe the state-based funds, and also sharing progress visibly.
Thanks for sharing that, Artie. If anyone would like to give any feedback, the floor is open. If not, I'll respond.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just give a little feedback. Day, I was specifically curious to hear from you on this issue because, you've been involved much longer than me, and I know we've talked about like strike funds and how those could be done, but it hasn't really been solidified. And yeah, like a national strike fund, I would assume is going to be would be mayhem to try to allocate those funds. And so, what are we encouraging people to actually do, both in the short term to start to build strike funds? Are those individual funds? Are they funds, for, and then in the long term, piecemeal specific workplaces? What is the larger picture of what we think are the best ideas and the best way to get that money that doesn't put it all in one big pot and have all of us, have to figure out where it goes.
Right. So far, basically, we do have like the donate on the website. I'll drop that, and it's a couple of them on there. So it's like three different strike funds on the by Eliza, the individual that helped create the website. The others are just partners that are collecting donations for the strike fund. But I can speak about like what the chapters have been doing since I started here. I first got involved with General Strike US like early 2023. But what our chapter here in Detroit, we have our own Cash App. So we have been like encouraging like chapters. I know a lot of them are just now getting like established. But once they create that link tree social media page, we do encourage them to start like a Cash App if they are comfortable with doing so, or if they want to take mutual aid or donations, well, however they want to do it. They have the autonomy to do so. We have a Cash App, we have a Venmo. Sometimes when we table, we have a donations bucket out as well. Sometimes it goes to help us fund for other events, and sometimes it helps us do mutual aid. We may get some stuff with it to give back to the community. But it's definitely up to the chapters if they would like to start that, like a Cash App. I know the Bay Area, if interested, we have been encouraging our chapters to practice owning the means of production, and that's what we've been trying to do like with a collaborative design project. So the designs was started from our Bay Area chapter, and they typically they don't charge a lot, but you can go on our link tree, and it's like it's a fundraiser, and it goes to the Bay Area chapter, but just different projects like so. That's what we've pretty much been doing so far. I'm pretty sure like if we further down the line, if we collaborate with other groups that may have a lot more resources and can help fund and donate to our national strike funds. I do know we haven't been promoting as much. I don't make any posts about folks donating to our strike fund, but that's something we can definitely look into and discuss more as a group about promoting those.
Yeah. I can add a couple of other pieces of information. I know that we're still in the research phase for coming up with recommended practices for setting up the strike funds, but it is something that a lot of chapters want to do, and they just want to make sure that it's decentralized, trying to keep money like as close to the local communities as possible. I think the state level is probably like one of the higher like levels geographically that we would do it at. But ideally, I think a lot of places would love to have, strike funds for individual cities or even individual neighborhoods within a big city so that the people within the chapter can be involved in the decision making and fundraising for those things. But that's definitely a ways off. We are working on building those suggested best practices. Which platforms might be safest and most transparent for people to use, and also if there isn't enough transparency within the platforms, like what extra steps should you take to show the community and our membership like how much funds you have, what it's planning on getting spent on, or how to give input on what it's spent. Those are all things that I think, we'd be open to having individuals if they want to help us research and create this set of best practices. That'd be a really great team to have starting to come together. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at. And I do know there's a big interest in eventually getting strike funds once it's ready. In the meantime, people can save their money if they want, or if they would rather, I would suggest donating to mutual aid in local area or to the mutual aid channel. Anyone who posts there within the general strike community, that's usually where I've been sending them if they're like, looking to try and make a little bit of difference with some extra resources they have at this moment.
We have elderberry up on stack.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, like, is there a place that we can send people who really do want to work on this issue of like best practices with the strike fund? Is it starting a project thread? Um, anyone that's really interested in kind of diving into the strike fund stuff and the nitty gritty, the weeds of it right now. Is there some place that we can send those folks at the moment?
I don't think there's currently one. I know that there's a couple of individual members that I've shared information with, and they said they'd think about it and see if they can contribute. There may be some, like, if anyone has expertise in fundraising or understands, like, what is it? Someone recommended looking into decentralized autonomous organizations, which is more of like a tech solution for sharing ownership between lots of different people. So there may be a combination of skills that might help with this project. We could definitely start a projects thread and then send people there. But yeah, I could see people from a tech background, a funding background, fundraising background, or maybe even legal backgrounds might be able to help us come up with some suggestions and best practices. Or anyone else who's just got a passion for it and wants to help in research.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but double check the strike funds that's on a website too, and then always double check to see if your state or your region has a general strike chapter, and if they have like a cash app to help them out as well.
Thank you. Will do.
No problem. And I believe it's open open discussion now. We made it. It's like we're almost at the hour right now. So it's like we can discuss like anything. Like if you all had like questions over the resources that was shared, if you all want to check back in with Lawrence or anything that's on your mind, or if you're looking for something in the Discord, or if you to answer the icebreaker question, the floor is open. I'm checking the chat. Yeah, I think I talk more. I like listening to myself. But I think that why we haven't like really been promoting like the strike funds that we have so much on the website. We definitely can. I think that we've been trying to like push the alternatives, like mutual aid and I don't know, just wing people, from that, just it's more like barter trade and stuff. I see us like really emphasizing on those things, and I don't like our chapter. Like we don't promote our Cash App a lot. Sometimes I do, but I guess we have to get out that mode. It's just a issue, but yeah, I think we should push it out a little bit more. I don't think a lot of people know that they exist. It does say donate on there too, so you can go in there and see donate. But yeah. I just always try to give people the alternatives. Like I just believe, like, I don't know, I seen it like I don't know if you are paying attention to like the student encampments and whatnot. Like it's just this whole narrative that we can work towards like community encampment where we have these stations set up like where everybody can have food, we have, programs like housing, land co-ops, like whatever it is, like our basic necessities we should be able to help each other meet those, regardless, we have the compliance coupons or not. By any means necessary, we should be able to make it happen. you know, cannot take no as a answer option.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback off of that, Dave, because the means necessary part of it, and I think it's like, you know, it's having a more coordinated, I don't know, language around the strike funds. I think will be good. A more coordinated set of options will be good. And that's something that we can all kind of collaborate on together, or whoever wants to. But I also think that it's not just about like, oh, this is this certain neighborhood's strike fund for the general strike, right? Like you can do that, but you can also say this is our. You can also have a much smaller group in a certain neighborhood, in a certain town, in a certain city, in a certain state that says, well, we specifically are building this mutual aid system, and that's what we're crowdfunding for. So it doesn't always have to be strike funds specifically. It can just be related and necessary. And that's why it's important to form those state chapters, because everybody who comes to start to form those state chapters is coming from different communities and different industries and different places of knowledge base. So that's how you start to learn where the needs are, and you can set up funds, and all the connections are, who has a little bit extra money and who just doesn't.
Mhm.
And you can start to set up funds, like crowdfunding based on need. And it doesn't always have to be branded as General Strike US or General Strike, Colorado or whatever. It could just be like, we came together as our state chapter General Strike, and then we realized that we needed to build this other thing or connect with this other thing that already exists. And so we collaborated, and we built a fund for this specific thing. So kind of basing it, again, coming back to what Lawrence was saying, basing it on those local needs, and setting it up in that fashion, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a process, and we want to prepare for the worst, and pray for the best. And, given the the current state, we just want to make sure we dot all our I's, cross all our T's. Further down the line, and if money is going to be worth anything, or if we're going to be able to be communicating how we are right now. So um, we just want to make sure we don't have all our eggs in one basket. And I think we've been pretty good about that, and open to the uncertainty. I think that's where a lot of the fear comes in at, but our freedom is worth it. The liberation is worth it. We're definitely not living. And if we can, help at least the next generation, get to a safe spot to where they can develop and take the struggle a little bit further, and I'm fine with that.
Amen.
Yeah, but we won't hold you all up. It's just open discussion right now. It's 8 o'clock. If you all have to go, get off, head off, finish up with your day, by all means, go ahead. Or if you any other thoughts, we'll stay on for a little bit longer, just to chop it up. So yeah.
I had a bit of a question, if that's all right.
Oh yeah, go for it. Shoot, I just thought about something too. Go ahead.
Sorry. Um, all right. So the intention is for each local area to develop strike supporting funds from the ground up. And well, sorry. Um, what I'm curious about is would we have any intentions to sort of kind of have some way of having funds be managed on a national level, or do we want it to stay local and independent through and through? Do we want each strike supporting fund to stay specific to that area and not have anything to do with any other area?
I think there might be a variety of ways we could approach it. In my own head, I think it would be really cool if we were able to have some sort of count of all the strike funds added together so we can, kind of let people see, like, on a national level, what all the resources are that our members are willing to commit to their communities and to help support the other members during a strike. But I also think that in terms of control of the funds, I would think that it'd probably make more sense to have local decision makers as much as possible for the local funds. And if we do have a national fund, we'd probably need to set up some very clear, transparent process for how those people will try to go about getting community input. Obviously, it's going to be really hard to get. We've got 300,000 people who signed the strike card. It's going to be really hard to get input from all of those people on what a national strike fund should be used for. But I do think if that we can put together some sort of guidelines on how we'll ask for input on uses of strike funds, and make sure everyone knows, like, how we will, let people know when strike funds are used, when they're planning to be used, things like that. So yeah, I think these sorts of guidance are really, really important for us to try and ask about and figure out. But yeah, I love these questions, and yeah, I'm not sure all the answers for them, but I definitely think we should keep asking them.
And we have JD on stat.
Just brought up a point to me directly, that the federal government just declared Habitat for Humanity a what? I don't remember the full terms. Anyways, investigating them for defrauding the government and possible terrorism. That they're investigating even humanitarian groups like Habitat for Humanity for, like, terrorism and such. And so my question is, like, do we have any type of lawyers or legal protection while being involved with anybody here, or do y'all do we have any direction as to, I guess, what?
We've got several people who help advise us on a legal basis, but we are not a nonprofit organization, which I believe is might be part of specifically what's going on with that I think it was an executive order or something that was created, which is why they're targeting that.
No, it was
Yeah.
passed. It was actually passed.
Oh,
by
it
the
was, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It was a couple months ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because I remember the language about, terrorism or other things was really vague, and we knew it was going to get used to try and, especially like target groups that are pro-Palestine and stuff like that. So yeah. So as far as we're concerned, we're a collection of 300,000 individuals who just happen to be talking about a general strike. We're not a nonprofit or a 501c3 or anything like that. So that also in some ways helps. Yeah, but we do have some people who advise on legal things and try to give us advice if they think there would be a benefit to having a more formal legal structure to this movement. But at this point, if anything, for the reasons you're mentioning, it seems like it might actually be more difficult to not have a legal designation, if that helps answer your question.
Yeah, that's perfect. Cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not breaking any laws here. We're all following the terms and service of Discord.
100%. Yep. Yeah, and we're nonviolent. We are, helping build community.
I just want to add to the oppressors, they make the laws. So we just want to keep in mind, because they do make the laws, they're gonna change the laws at any point in time to benefit them. So at any point the laws can change, and we just have to keep that in mind. And it's gonna come a time where we have to, ask ourselves, are we gonna let these man-made laws keep us stand in between us and our liberation? We just want to keep that in mind, as we move forward. Especially with the current administration, they're gonna flex. We're gonna see behind the veil. We're gonna see them removing the mask, like what they've been doing, not giving a fuck. So it's just gonna be mind blowing. We're just gonna see a lot, but just keep that in mind. They can change it at any time. We're gonna drive ourselves crazy, trying to jump through these hoops and all the shit, all the legislations that they put out, just to tell us that we don't deserve a dignified life.
As far as legal protection goes, so it's really great that the overall group has people to consult about this, but it might also be an important point on the checklist for each local chapter to reach out to local lawyers and ask if they would be willing to help with this.
Absolutely.
100%. 100%. I recommend that to any formed chapters. I don't know that any formed chapters are thinking of establishing legal entities themselves. But it's still good to have legal counsel if you can figure out how to finagle that.
And one last small point is part of our other defense is not just decentralization, but also strength in numbers. There's a lot that they could do to, 10 of us or 100 of us or 1,000 of us, but there's a lot less they can do to 300,000 of us or 1,000,000 of us. So, yeah, keep your eyes on each other. We've got each other's backs, and we will definitely be making sure if things happen that we'll be mobilizing and adapting. But there's a lot of us for them to mess with. And, there's a lot of things they can't even accomplish right now, even with a lot of the levers of government and ignoring the laws. So, I think we'll be okay for a little longer.
Yeah.
Keep organizing as we are.
I would just add that when you're talking about, any one single organization or individual, it's very easy to attack them, right? But it's also good to remember that there are a lot of coalition members and a lot of organizations that are nonprofits and other types of not-for-profits that will be involved. And so in numbers, organizations, there's pros and cons to not being organization and being organization because you have legal protections and other aspects. So it'll just be a big diverse groupings of different non-orgs and orgs and all that as the coalition grows. So yeah, it's good to think about both. Check.
My I just wanted to bring up something off topic, but as you all know, tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and I like putting out content to push the general strike around that time. So I did make a couple of St. Patty's Day graphics. If you all want to share them out tomorrow, that'd be dope. I'm gonna drop them in the chat. But yeah, by all means, let's keep being a menace. Let's keep disrupting the status quo. But that's all I had to add.
If I may, I want to throw something out there that I've been kind of contemplating and working on. It's basically like, again, this is the time for collaboration, and we are kind of looking to join other organizations, just as we've joined General Strike US. But I think it's a lot of organizations out there that also take monetary subsidies, not necessarily donations, but membership fees. So we're one of them. And my idea was to even position it to where General Strike, if you all collaborate or partner with another entity and they accept donations, maybe it's a way that we can wiggle in, every member that joins the other organization, money can get kicked back to the General Strike Fund. So if it's a $7 a month monthly fee, for membership, $2 goes back to General Strike as a way to fund the initiative. I've been playing with that idea in my head. What do y'all think about that?
Sweet. I think it's definitely something we can work up to. I know people been telling us about the numbers that we have can definitely benefit us, especially with trying to fundraise or whatnot. So it's definitely a proposal we can look more into. Um, Pitch it to the team that's growing. I think we'll have like a strike fund team development after this meeting. If anyone else has some feedback, definitely come up. Yeah, I wrote that down, so we'll definitely look into that. Thanks for sharing that, Lawrence.
I just wanted to say this was a really great weekly welcome session. Thank you to Day and Dalian for organizing as always. Thank you to Lawrence and for everyone for your input. This was super awesome. Thank you.
Oh, sweet, real quick. I know we have indication left. That's one of our Illinois chapter facilitators. I also see 360 Isaac. That's one of our partners. 360. If you wanted to, I mean to put you on blast, but if you want to come up, just introduce, you all what you all do, real quick. I know a couple folks are still in here.
Okay, cool. Peace and greetings, everybody, and especially to you, Dave, for the connection to General Strike. My name is Isaac. I'm a part of a group called 360 Collective. We are educators to leverage our skill and our expertise as educators to raise consciousness towards dramatic social change and towards movement such as General Strike. There's just a small number of us in our group, just 4 of us. One of us just moved out of the country. I live in Chicago, and then there are two more of my comrades who live in the state of Michigan. So we're just a very small group. We do some in-person work, but a lot of what we do tends to be online. We have a Bluesky page, and we have a Facebook page as well, which is where with General Strike We have a website as well that we keep, so you can check us out there. There's also a YouTube channel. If you just Google 360 Collective Education, it should come right up. So I'm happy to be here representing my group. I'm glad to be connected to all of you and to General Strike, and I hope that I can be of benefit to the cause.
Thanks, Isaac. Appreciate that. I'm dropping a website now.
Okay, I appreciate that, Day.
No problem.
Indication left. Did you want to talk about what you have going on? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
right now I have going on. Sorry, there's right now I'm looking into having an onboarding for new facilitators coming in, as well as looking into like welcome packets and just figuring out more of like a good welcoming process for any people that want to join chapters.
Sweet, right on. Definitely need that. Like I was talking about earlier, need resources, ways to disseminate this information to the public to get more people involved. So I really appreciate all of the volunteers, everyone stepping up. It's great to see a couple of our partners here, and you all definitely please support them. Check out 360 Collective. Check out Collectively Sustainable, and the rest of our partners. This is all a team, and if you all have any groups or organizations that you feel what that aligns with the mission, with the goal, definitely bring them on board. It's going to take all of us. No one group individual is going to be able to do this alone.
Yeah, one of my favorite things coming on this chat since I've joined is seeing people asking how they can help and like bringing their skills and resources and just seeing how they can make this happen. So that's something I've been really enjoying seeing, and it's been encouraging me and inspiring me to start helping out.
Mm-hmm.
and I'll piggyback on that. Not all of the state chapters are formed yet. Not all of them have state chapter facilitators yet. But if you go into your state channel, you can ask, is there a state chapter facilitator here yet? Is there a social media coordinator here yet? You're welcome to ask that. There are moderators that can kind of point you in the right direction too, even if there isn't enough activity on the state channel. If you don't have a state chapter facilitator, or you don't have any social media coordinators in your state channel yet, that might be you. You might need to step up. So once again, I'm a state chapter facilitator from Maine, and we are all trying to get the state chapters up and running together. They're not all formed. They're not all meeting yet. But you just reach out and ask and try to figure out. And if you're not seeing what you want to see in your state channel at the moment, and you need some help getting what you want to see going there, just talk to some of us, and we'll help you out.
Sweet. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. You all, unless you all had like any more to share, um, yeah, we'll definitely be back next Sunday. I don't think our coalition meeting is next Sunday, or it's at the end. Yeah, so we'll definitely be back next Sunday here. Peace, Jay. No problem, Vessa.
Take care, y'all.